Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Fadi Mubarak, Channel Director of Avaya International.
Thank you, Nidal. Good afternoon. First, I would like to start with a big thank you for each and every one of you to be with us today. I know it's not the travel, but what I appreciate most is the commitment to invest 3 days of your time to be with us today. And we all know time is money. Time is precious, time is rare. But there are a lot of things we can influence. Influence we can, and influence we will. Why? The industry is in transition, and we'll talk a little bit about that. The Avaya evolution, we are transforming ourselves. The technology advancement and the way the technology has evolved also is forcing all of us, and when you hear me say us during this presentation, I mean all of us in this room. And the role of the channel is evolving. If we start and look at what's happening in the industry, sorry, these screens below are not working. Customers are expecting and looking for specific functionality, advanced functionality. They're no longer evaluating technology by itself, but they're more insisting on the functionality and how it relates to their business. And with functionality that they need a certain degree, not a certain degree, a high degree of agility and a higher degree of customization when and where they need it. Nothing is new in these concepts. There have been always business requirements. The only difference between before and now and the future is the speed at which we bring these things. When we talk about customization, customers are no longer giving us a 6-month window to develop something and roll it out and test it and. It's a week, maybe a month, 2-3 weeks, or a month window max. What we expected and where we expected to happen, it will be in the days. So do we have the right technology, tools, approach, skills, knowledge to do that? If we look at what's happening in our own evolution, how we're transitioning from a traditional technology vendor to a more of a solution provider, software and services company, and it can evolve into any direction. But what we're trying to achieve with that evolution is that balancing criteria between customers that traditionally purchase technology in a CapEx model with a lot of customization in complex integrations and based on a set of functionality that us and companies like us as vendors provided them with, and that's what was available, into a model that is more OpEx, functionality that could be customized, fixed if it's a cloud, but still they lose the customization ability, and how to balance between the two, between having OpEx and a fixed set of functionality and between having the customization ability in a CapEx mode. And the transition is different from customer to customer, market to market, and industry to industry. So while as a company we were not born in the cloud, we are developing solutions that we are giving birth to in the cloud, while at the same time evolving and supporting and developing our existing platforms and providing that smooth evolution to customers so they can do it at their own pace, whenever they want, and at the speed they want to. So the role we have together is really differentiating ourselves, and I insist on the word together, because we definitely cannot do it alone, on how to create that balance for each and every customer. And for that, you've seen our technology, how it evolved. You have seen the announcements we have done in the past 6 months. We used to announce solutions, products with a set of functionalities, and then evolve that functionality, advance it, add to it. Currently, and you've seen it, we're announcing all that, but being not only a solution, but a platform. Why is that important? Simply, it opens a horizon that was not there before. A horizon for our customer, and more importantly, a horizon for yourself here. You are no longer dependent only on the functionality that Avaya and at the speed at which we release things. You have every capability and chance and opportunity to develop the functionality that your customer requires today within a reasonable cost and definitely within reasonable time. And that's new. That gives the opportunity for all of us to have indefinite options in front of us. And who is better positioned to define what is that functionality and in which industry and or to which customer it's needed more than yourselves? You, our partner. You support the customer, you live with them for Avaya solution, and in many cases, for many other solutions that you complement our solutions with. Our customer trusts you because they're trusting you with the day-to-day support and implementation and introduction of new solutions. And they look at most of you, and I've seen it, we experienced it, as their trusted advisor. So it's our role as a vendor to provide you with the tools to deliver that value add that customers expect from you. That's the philosophy in which we're operating. That's the mindset we have internally within ourselves, within our sales team, within our support people. We are turning, our platforms are becoming tools. You decide what you want to do them, with whom and where and at which speed. And we're seeing that happening. Again, the concept is not new. You've always done that, but it used to be complex, costly. So the business case for the customer did not always make sense. Not because of any of us did anything wrong. It was just too complex. It took time, it took resources. Now with this platform, we're shrinking that time, we're shrinking the amount of resources needed, making much more easier with the things like Breathe, Oceana, and you're going to hear about all that in the coming sessions. You're going to see it live, as you've seen in the demo area, and you're going to see it live, some of the scenarios we've automated. But again, I urge you to broaden your scope, think of the customer, think of the scenarios they need, and make it happen. Last but not least, the fourth area that we influenced us, the channel evolution in general. The new next generation system integration. What do customers expect from you or any system integrator or solution provider or whatever we want to call it? We see that the discussion is turning more and more into a business discussion. They want somebody to explain the challenge or the opportunity they're addressing and expect from you to provide them with a solution for that. They're looking at us and you mainly to be the bridge between the business and the technology. And we see more and more that the head of the business segments, whether it's a retail bank or any industry, they want to be involved and they want to talk and they want to dictate to a point what they need. It's no longer that the CIO or the IT department tell the business that's what's possible. That's not good enough anymore. Why? Because they're competing. How are they competing? Not by coming up with an idea that nobody thought of before. The barriers to entry are minimal today in any industry. How they're competing is with these little small things they do, using technology to differentiate their customer experience. That's how they are competing. That's how our customers are competing. So anybody that can help them compete, this is whom they're going to listen to. And can we help them compete? Absolutely. The customer experience, we're at the heart of it. Our technology at the heart of it. You are at the heart of it today, supporting it. We just need to sit together and put the next step forward for the customers by discussing with the customers among each other and agree on the way forward. and create that commitment to their business plans, to their execution plans, to the point where we are at the heart and part of it. If we can achieve that together, and I know we can. Why I know that? Because we've done it already, many, many times over, and it's becoming more and more relevant and important today. So with all that technology, you see, we're giving you a choice. Because we realize not every company, not every partner wants to play in the same way or in the same market segment or in the same market in general, country like others. So you need to have the choice. We no longer want to dictate this is the way how a partner should work with Avaya and he should know all this stuff or sell all this stuff or do all the things. We want to give you the choice. The way we sell the customization, importance of customization for customers, it's important you customize the value add proposition you're trying to take to those customers. How we're doing that? You see the value chart. You decide which product you want to play and what value you want to achieve. Of course, with higher value comes higher investments. So we need to think together and take informed decisions. What does it mean to play in a certain market? What will it take for a partner like yourself to take the Oceana and Oceanalytics and Breeze value proposition to their customers? And what it means in terms of investment, and equally what it means in terms of return on investment. And that's what we're hoping to achieve in this event today and going forward, to clarify the road forward, to have where we discuss on plain level field and in all transparency what it means. And that's why we modified the channel program to set the stage for that evolution. Nothing's going to happen overnight. And we don't expect, and customers are not expecting, not we, everybody to evolve from one model to the other overnight. We know it's going to be different. We said it many times, customers are saying it. Even customers themselves, they move at different paces. We ourselves, as a transformation, we are doing it at our pace that fits our financials, our market conditions, and the legacy we have versus others. We've seen companies born in the cloud, and we've seen legacy companies moving into the cloud, and they can both be successful and they can both fail. It depends. So based on these four things, we saw the need to evolve our channel program and the strategy. We call it Avaya Edge because we look at the program as a tool in your hands to give you an edge to compete and win. Competition is not in this room. Competition is not between you guys. Competition is outside this room. The pie, the share, the market opportunity outside this room is several times what is in this room. And that's what, as a company, we're going after. So I'm going to link we announced the program. I mean, most of you know what it is, but I'm going to link key messages to what I described on the four things that are changing and the strategy we're changing at the company. We reduced the medal levels to 3. And that's because we had one thing we needed to achieve, which is simplifying a little bit the program. So there are key areas of the program that needed simplification, and that was one of them. And by reducing the medal levels to 3, we are setting the stage to more differentiation between the different medal levels. We're not saying which medal level is better. Of course, we know what's better. But the medal level reflects a choice you have made. It reflects your own strategy. And customers will be able to evaluate and attach things and relate things together. The second major thing we have done, I think this is the most important change that we have done, is to create the both tracks, the mid-market and enterprise track. I've talked a lot about before giving you choices. The mid-market and SME industry, while the requirements there are similar to the enterprise, That's why we name it SME, not SMB. The financial and the dynamics in it are different. The people we sell to are different. The speed at which a deal is closed is different. The average deal size is different. So the investment has to be optimized because the return on investment comes with that. If we think enterprise, the complexities are more, the investments are higher, the rewards are definitely bigger, and different type of customers, different sales cycle, and the average deal size is higher. So we've created both those tracks, and we applied the medal level and the requirements to achieve those medal levels equally, between both. It's the same, except the value is different. So to achieve a medal level, you need credentials. Credentials on both tracks are different. But in each track, we already simplified over what was previously there. And we insisted on making the implement certification a must, a minimum level of implement certification a must. Why is that? Very simple. Customers. When we say a partner is a diamond partner, in the mindset of the customer, it means this is the best partner to sell me and implement a solution for me. It does not mean that this is the best partner to sell to me and outsource the implementation, or even worse, sometimes doing without training. So this value is built and it's coupled together heavily. So in the mid-market track, as partners who invest in that track or who are already invested in that track, they will all go compete with the expectations of the customer on plain level field. If they need to compete together, they both are measured by the same rules and done the same investments. So the pressure is on the customer who can prove the value and meet the customer expectations better. And more importantly, be able to compete with the other competition, with the real competition based on value. And for the mid-market, again, credentials, a certain amount of revenue, less than the enterprise, and the customer satisfaction surveys. So the third change we introduced on the CSATs. We know sometimes the customer satisfaction surveys were painful because they were long. We've reduced the length and kept the same key questions that will tell us what the customer is thinking of you and us together. So we want to keep on encouraging you to survey your customers for their degrees of satisfaction. It's very important. We need to stay in touch with the customer and get a feel of what's going on. On the revenue side, while every medal level has a minimum revenue, mid-market track revenues are obviously lower because the average deal size is less. But always remember, credentials, customer satisfaction, revenues are the true indicator for both of us because we live by that. But importantly, it's the true indicator of the customer trust in you. If a partner, the more revenue they're generating, it means more number of partners are trusting them. And repetitive or new logos or wins like that. So revenue is always very important. To complement that, this is an example of, even in the mid-market, what you see on the right-hand side of the screen, on my right-hand side, is what the credentials were needed in the previous program and how they were optimized and reduced for the new program, without impacting the quality the customers expect from you. That's one example in the mid-market where we heard your feedback, we listened to you, the amount of sales training was becoming a little bit too much, although it's online, although it's kind of low cost, but the time needed to invest was high, and that was revised. So the simplification, the optimization of the program to give you more time, less investment, higher ROI, and more focus on the customers. Rebates. Obviously, your profitability from dealing with Avaya is crucial to the relationship. Partners are not corporate social responsibility or NGOs. So the rebates, we have announced the growth performance rebate for Diamond partners. You might think, why only Diamond partners? Very simple. If you look at the program today and the revenues achieved, any partner in any market segment, in any country, if they decide they want to promote Avaya, sell Avaya, and focus part of their efforts on doing that, can become a Diamond partner in no time. So the message we're sending here, we're looking for mutual relevance and mutual commitment. And that mutual relevance and mutual commitment will be rewarded. It doesn't mean that if you're not, it means something bad. We know we have, and we will always have, a set of partners where the relationship is transactional, where the Avaya value proposition is complementing their own bigger value proposition, which is not in that field. And we don't mind that, and we will work and support and enable and do that. But if we have to reward a certain behavior, make a certain ROI, address a certain P&L, as we said, we designed the program that knowing the number of partners we have, knowing the markets we're addressing, the solutions we're releasing, anybody can become a Diamond partner. And the reward, you see the percentages, we've introduced them to be on your total business with Avaya. What do I mean by that? It means product and services. Because this is how you evaluate your relationship with Avaya. How much the total revenue? What is the total profitability? This is how we look at you. So the rewards and the rebates, we have changed that from being products only to the total revenue. Again, the idea is to enhance the mutual relevance, which we know is driven by, from our side, incremental revenues, from your side, the right profitability that comes from incremental revenues. MDF, big topic. We always discussed it. Many, and you've sensed, I've heard complaints that, oh, MDF budgets have been reduced. True. We all went through optimization exercises, whether we are vendors or partners or in the whole industry. But if you think of it, once we optimize and we start doing creative things together, the impact was not reduced. And the 3 focus areas for this year in our marketing development funds are going to be lead generation, how we identify qualified opportunities for us to fuel and grow the funnel we have, and that funnel is a mutual funnel. Sales incentives on top of the rebates we've announced to reward individual behavior from your teams. Of course, we do that within your organization and the general rules and regulations and practices. And last but not least, the enablement side. With all the products you're going to hear about, everything we are releasing, we know enablement is a big investment from your side, and we're going to fund that or part of that and give it a priority in our marketing developing fund. We talked about the speed of execution. We spoke about the agility. All these are intended to get you ready in a record time to address the evolution and the changes that are happening. We are listening. We are there. We're progressing, and there will always be the need to do things differently as we evolve. But we're taking the things that have the biggest impact on most of you and most of our markets as a priority. The last topic, which is dear to your heart, which are services, support services. Co-delivery. I know this is, I think if I want to find a topic that gets raised in every meeting I have with every single partner, it's this topic. Other topics, I get 2 or 3, depending who I talk, but that topic comes out. And I want to step back a little bit to explain all the changes you have seen happening either on the co-delivery rules or the services pricing. There was a reasoning behind that, a deep analysis that was done. And what I can tell you is that the reason to do that was not for us together to lose business. Nobody does changes to lose business. But unfortunately, there were some wrong behaviors that needs to be addressed. My message to you is, number one, the changes on code delivery, the objective is to enhance and maintain our customer satisfaction. Yes, it sometimes required more investment from your side, but that's why we're working on more rebates and more attention to have the return on investment. If the investment is necessary for customer satisfaction, it's necessary. It has to happen. What we need to then address together is the return on investment. The return on investment, where does it come from? From selling more and upselling and selling new logos, and how we can do that. The second thing we have done in the price change, was to balance between the legacy base we have and the new software applications and the new world we're selling. Can we drive a pricing strategy that perfectly balances between these two scenarios? Absolutely not. That's why I encourage you, if you see things in certain cases, and I know it's happening, we bring it to the table, we discuss it, and we will do the right thing that makes sense for that specific case. We are here to win business together. We are not changing things to impact business negatively. Transparency is key. Putting our cards on the table is very important. And I know it's happening. I'm not talking about something that is not happening, but I want to encourage that behavior because it's not happening enough. And I feel it from the meetings I have with some of you where you raised your concern and you said, yeah, but that was changed, and you said no discount on that. Well, that's the general things. Every rule has its exception if it makes business sense, if it's good for the business. So on the services side, let's think, please, of customer first, and then between ourselves, we can find the optimal balance to who is best, the right party to deliver which service for the customer, as long as the customer gets the right value and the right total cost of ownership for the solution they are purchasing through us together. Next steps and moving forward. The growth path to partners, you and organizations like yourself, we see it coming in these three shapes. Transformation to aggregator of solutions is crucial because customers more and more need to worry less about technology and more about functionality, to the point they are outsourcing the technology altogether and putting an SLA on the table related to a functionality they need and the level of support. This is a trend. It's a matter of time. As I said, certain countries, I've seen it happening very fast. Certain countries at a slower pace, but it's a matter of time. The second one, we encourage you, and we talked about the horizon we have opened for all of you to build your own intellectual property using Avaya. I'm not going to call them solutions, but tools. Think of them as tools for you to build your own intellectual property, to redefine your value proposition to your customers. Because with this intellectual property, you create a degree of stickiness to the customer that is very, very hard to undo. And that's value to the customer. We're not talking here about doing it for the sake of anything except positive things happening. Customers love to have few trusted advisors and technology providers, whether vendors or integrators or actually aggregators. They don't mind that at all. Actually, they love it. They don't want to deal with multiple partners. The less they have, the better it is for them, as long as the right value is being delivered. The third point is adopt new business models. The move to cloud is impacting all of us. We're transforming. Yes, it comes with its cost. Its burdens on the financials of the company. But again, the good thing about it, it's not happening overnight. but we have to make it happen at the pace the market needs. If we are slower than that pace, the market is going to take us by surprise. And if we are faster than the pace, the impact on the P&L will be stronger. If we can afford it, fine. What is right, what is wrong? There is no right and wrong. There is the right pace and the right balance that we will work on together in every market and every country, and it will be different. So I will finish and conclude with a couple of thoughts. In the coming 2 days, we're going to be hosting our customers together. I encourage you to, by what you hear today and what you're going to see in the hall, to engage our customers on that. Let us focus on what we can influence. And I'll say one thing, because I know, I believe in it, the teams believe in it. Influence we can, and influence we will. Thank you very much.